There's something deeply unsettling about being home alone. The quiet isn't comforting, it's deafening. The shadows aren't empty, they're watching. And the smallest sound can feel like a scream when you know you shouldn't be hearing anything at all. These aren't just stories. They're real experiences, shared by people who thought they were safe. Until the silence broke. Until the mirror moved. Until someone knocked. From the inside. Get comfortable. And whatever you do, don't turn around. These are 3 true home alone horror stories. And it starts now. It was around 12:40 a.m. on a Friday night. The rain had been falling non-stop since evening, one of those deep, moody storms where even the streetlights looked blurry through the waterlogged glass. I was home alone. My roommate was out of town, visiting his girlfriend, and I had the entire apartment to myself. It was supposed to be a chill night, horror movie, junk food, and passing out in front of the TV. I had just finished watching Hereditary, and I remember actually laughing when the credits rolled, trying to shake off how unsettling that last scene felt. But even after the movie ended, the sense of unease didn't go away. I muted the TV, scrolled through Instagram, then turned my attention to the huge living room window behind me. That's when I saw him. A man, standing motionless across the street, just on the edge of the sidewalk, barely lit by the flickering yellow street lamp. He was drenched. No umbrella, no coat pulled tight, just standing there. At first, I thought it was a trick of the light or maybe someone drunk waiting for an Uber. I stared for a bit, long enough to realize something was off. He wasn't looking around. He wasn't on his phone. He wasn't doing anything, just facing my window, as if watching me. I remember saying out loud, "Okay, that's creepy," trying to shake the feeling. I even took a photo from inside, through the window, thinking I could zoom in and get a better look. But when I looked at the photo, my heart literally skipped a beat. He wasn't across the street. He was in my yard, closer than I had thought, maybe 15 feet from the glass. Soaked, still, his face shadowed under a hoodie. I felt this wave of cold wash over me. I rushed to lock the front door. It was locked. I checked all the windows. Double locked. But then I remembered the kitchen window. I had opened it slightly earlier that evening while cooking to let some steam out. It was one of those sliding windows, narrow but not impossible to crawl through. I sprinted into the kitchen. The window was open about 6 inches. I shut it immediately and locked it, hands shaking. That's when I heard it, a soft, wet slap, like a footstep on the tile, coming from the hallway. I froze. The only light was the dim lamp in the corner of the living room behind me. The hallway was pitch black. Another footstep, this time closer, and then silence. I gripped a kitchen knife and tiptoed toward the hallway, heart racing. I peeked around the corner. Nothing. No one. Then I heard a vibration. My phone, left on the couch. I walked back and checked it. A text from an unknown number. "You locked it too late." I swear to God I felt my legs nearly give out. I turned every light in the apartment on, room by room, closet by closet. Nothing. The place was empty, or so I thought. The moment I stepped into my bedroom, something felt off, like the air was thicker, heavier. I turned slowly. The curtains near the window were swaying slightly. The window was locked. I had checked that earlier. Then I noticed muddy footprints on the carpet, leading from the base of the curtain to the edge of my bed. I backed out of the room slowly, not even breathing. I slammed the door shut and locked it from the outside. I stayed up the entire night, lights on, knife in hand. When the sun rose, I opened the bedroom door. The footprints were gone. But on the bed was my phone, lying face down. I hadn't left it there. I picked it up, hands trembling. The screen lit up. It was a photo, taken at 3:09 a.m. Sleeping on the couch. Someone had taken it while I was asleep. That was 3 months ago. I moved out the following week. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. I've changed my number since then. Got a new SIM, new phone, entirely fresh setup. And just last night, while watching TV in my new apartment, a message came in. No number, just a blank sender. The message? This time, I'm already inside. I was 17. My parents had left for a family wedding out of town, and I stayed behind because of board exams. I remember feeling kind of grown up, having the house all to myself. I ordered takeout, binge-watched some old horror series, and stayed up way too late. It was raining heavily that night, the kind of rain that taps steadily on the roof and makes everything outside look foggy and still. Around 1 a.m., I was getting ready for bed. I walked into the bathroom, brushing my teeth like normal, when something very slight caught my eye. In the mirror, my reflection seemed off. Not wrong exactly, just slightly behind. I blinked, it blinked. I smiled, it smiled. But when I leaned down to rinse my mouth, I noticed it paused before following. It was a tiny delay, barely noticeable. I laughed to myself. Probably just sleep deprivation. But I decided to test it. I raised my left hand suddenly. The reflection did the same, only with a tiny stutter. It happened again. I leaned in, squinting. That's when the lights in the bathroom flickered. Just once. A quick dimming, then back. The reflection smiled. But I didn't. I didn't move a muscle. I took one step back, slowly. It stepped forward. I ran out of the bathroom and slammed the door shut. My heart was pounding, and I told myself it was just stress. Just a trick of the eye. Mirrors can be weird. The flickering light probably added to the illusion. I sat on my bed, phone in hand, and tried to distract myself by texting a friend. That's when my phone vibrated. But it wasn't a message. It was an airdrop request from a nearby device. It just said, "Do you see me now?" There was an image attached. It was a photo of me standing in the bathroom, looking into the mirror, but I hadn't taken it. And the angle, it was from behind me, as if someone was standing between me and the reflection. I just stood there, frozen. My breathing went shallow. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. The timestamp on the image? 2:43 a.m. I checked the clock. It was 2:44 a.m. The photo was taken 1 minute ago. That's when the second airdrop came. This time, no image. Just a note. Stop pretending. We both know who belongs here. I wanted to scream, but the house was empty, and the silence was like a blanket pressing down on me. I didn't know what to do. Call the cops? Tell them my mirror is acting strange? I needed to prove something real was happening. So I took out my phone and started recording a video. I pointed it at the bathroom mirror and waved slowly. I whispered, "If you're in there, do something." Nothing happened for a few seconds. But then, my reflection stopped moving. I was still waving, my hand midair. but the reflection was still. Then it tilted its head sideways, like a dog trying to understand something. Then it smiled. I dropped the phone and ran to the living room, hyperventilating. I didn't want to be near any mirrors, not even a window. I turned on every light in the house and sat in the middle of the floor, facing the front door. That's when I heard it. A sound, faint but deliberate, like fingernails, scraping from the inside of the mirror. Fresh, fresh, fresh. I recorded the sound with my phone. The scratching stopped. The lights in the hallway flickered, one by one, like something was walking beneath them. I locked myself in my bedroom and texted my best friend, "Can you please come over? I think I'm losing it." No reply. Then my phone vibrated. A FaceTime call from my best friend's number. I answered immediately, whispering, "Bro, you need to come over. Something's happening." But what I saw on the screen, it wasn't my friend. It was me, but not normal me. My skin looked pale, gray almost, and my eyes were completely black, as if they were filled with ink. The screen began to glitch, and my voice came from the other side. "You invited me. You look too long. That's all it takes." The screen cut to black, and then my phone turned off. Battery, 72%. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on my bed, holding a lamp in one hand and my kitchen knife in the other. And around 4 a.m., just as I was starting to drift off, I heard a knock. Not on the door, on the mirror in my room. Knock, knock, knock. I don't even remember getting up. It's like I blacked out. The next thing I knew, it was morning. I was lying on the floor in front of my mirror, face to face with my own reflection. But the weird part? I was smiling. My phone was in my hand, and in the gallery was a video. I opened it. It showed me walking into the bathroom at 3:07 a.m. I looked right into the mirror, smiled, and walked into it, like the glass was water. Then, nothing. Cut to static. That was 3 nights ago. Since then, I've tried covering every mirror in the house. But even with them covered, sometimes I catch a glimpse in the black screen of my phone or the turned-off TV. I see him again, and the last time, he didn't look like me anymore. He looked closer, like if I stared too long, he might be able to step back out. It was a quiet Sunday night. I live in a small 2-story apartment in the outskirts of town, barely anyone on this side of the street. No neighbors for at least 50 feet in either direction. My parents were on a weekend trip, and I had the place to myself. Around 12:30 a.m., I was lying on the living room couch, watching reruns of The Twilight Zone. I'd just finished a bowl of Maggie and was thinking about going to bed when I noticed something weird. The hallway light upstairs turned on. I froze. No one else was home. I hadn't been upstairs since the morning. The switch was a manual one. There's no sensor or timer. I muted the TV. Silence. Footsteps. Slow, dragging footsteps from upstairs. Thup, thup, thup. I stared at the hallway entrance, trying to convince myself it was the house settling. Maybe a fuse issue. Maybe I forgot to turn off the light and it flickered back on. But deep down, I knew that was a lie. I stood up and called out, "Hello." No answer. I grabbed a cricket bat from behind the door and started walking up the stairs slowly, step by creaking step. The light was still on in the hallway. Everything looked normal at first, but then I saw it. At the far end of the hallway, near the guest room door, a woman, standing completely still, back turned, long black hair, pale skin, wearing a faded white gown. I nearly dropped the bat. She wasn't moving. She wasn't making any sound. Just standing, facing the wall. I opened my mouth to speak, but no sound came out. My throat was dry, my hands shaking. She took a step forward, still facing away. She turned her head, not her body, just her head, toward me. And even though she was 20 feet away, I could see her face. It wasn't blurred. It wasn't shadowed. It was my mother's face, but twisted, stretched in a way that wasn't human. The eyes were too wide, the mouth slightly open like she was mid-scream, and the skin grayish, like something that had been buried. She tilted her head slowly, then whispered something. I couldn't hear it, just a hiss of breath. Then she bolted at me, her bare feet hitting the wooden floor in rapid, unnatural taps. I turned and ran, slammed the bedroom door behind me, locked it, and shoved my desk in front. I heard her footsteps stop right outside. Knock. Not banging, just soft knocking, like she was patient. I sat with my back against the door, tears streaming down my face, praying it was just a dream. Eventually it stopped. I stayed there until sunlight began to filter through the curtains. I opened the door slowly. The hallway was empty. Everything looked completely normal. And I started wondering, was it sleep paralysis? A waking dream? I went to the living room. My phone was on the table. 3 missed calls, all from Mom. Which was impossible. My parents were still at the wedding. I checked WhatsApp. Last seen, 10:58 p.m. Just then I got a text from her. Said, I'm outside. I rushed to the front window. There was a woman standing at the gate, hair wet, same gown, same face, smiling. I closed the blinds and sat on the floor for what felt like hours. When I finally gathered the courage to peek outside again, she was gone. I called my parents in a panic. My mom answered on FaceTime. She was at the wedding, smiling, chatting with family. Totally normal. I didn't tell her what happened. I didn't want to scare her. But here's the part that made me question everything. That night, as I was scrolling through the photos on my phone, I found one I didn't take. It was of me, sleeping, taken from inside my room. The timestamp? 12:34 a.m. Just minutes before I saw her upstairs. I live alone. It's been 2 weeks since then. I've stopped sleeping with the lights off. Every night, around the same time, I hear footsteps again. Slow, deliberate, closer. And sometimes, when I check my phone in the morning, there's another photo in the gallery. Another one of me sleeping. But they're getting closer every time. And I know, one day, I'll wake up, and she won't be on the other side of the door anymore. She'll be inside. If you're still watching this, you're not just brave, you're one of us now. These halls never stay empty for long, and neither will your screen. So before the next knock at your door, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and join us for more stories that shouldn't be real, but are. You've been warned. We'll see you when the lights go out.